Welcome, mortals, to the Fantasy Football War Council's podcast. Here are your gods of war, Jonathan Arneson, along with Mario and Daniel Gutierrez.
Greetings, mortals, and welcome to another meeting of the Fantasy Football War Council. I'm your host, Jonathan, and I am alone today to guide you through all of the chaos, and there was a lot of it this weekend. Mario and Daniel are on a trip, and I'll be hosting alone or with guest stars for the next few weeks. So let's dive into it. We had some news this weekend. I'm going to get into like some practice news that'll help fantasy rosters first, and then there was some injuries over the games that happened over the weekend, and some news that came out for other stuff. So let's dive in. Let's see, a lot of wide receiver stuff. We got Marvin Harrison Jr. expected back at practice this week. He's practicing Wednesday per head coach Gannon. Drake London in his knee is expected back at practice Wednesday. Should be practicing today. Let's see. Rashee Rice is in the league's concussion protocol. He is showing symptoms as of on Monday, per Andy Reid. And then Christian Watson, chest and shoulder, expected back at practice Wednesday, per head coach Matt LaFleur. Let's see. Outside linebacker Matt Judon was released this morning. He's 33. He started only 3 of 13 games played this season, so they dropped him. And he is subject, the 10-year veteran is subject to waivers, so someone will grab him. We'll see where he lands. Jeremy Ruckert agreed to terms on a 2-year, $10 million extension with New York, with the Jets. It is worth up to $11 million, so with incentives. Sorry, alone today and watching my kids, so I'm going to be looking down a lot. And she's got a show on. Dolphins Tua was benched today. About time, right? Been needing to happen. But they've got Quinn Ewers they drafted, so they're going to give Quinn Ewers a shot to start. So I'm excited to see what the young kid has and how well he'll do. Didn't have a great start to his preseason, so we'll see. Colts, Anthony Richardson has been medically cleared following his orbital fracture he suffered from a freak pregame band workout accident back on October 12th. So, band snapped to the face and cracked an orbital. That's what luck. What luck. But he is medically cleared to be back. We'll see. They definitely need a quarterback, but it's not him. It's not him. He's lacking something. He needs some structure. So this was exciting. Notre Dame's running back Jeremiah Love announced yesterday that he intends to forego another season and will of eligibility and will enter the 2026 draft. So there's a good running back into the draft looking to go up the charts. Now, unfortunate news. Well, I don't know how unfortunate or unfortunate, because a lot of people hate the Chiefs, but Patrick Mahomes tore his ACL and LCL and was undergoing surgery this week already to repair that. So he will be done for the season, and he's eyeing. It said that he's eyeing the week 1 start. Of course he wants to, but with an injury this late in the season, we'll see if that's gonna happen. And he may push himself to start soon. Don't want to do that, but also it was a weekend for ACLs. Micah Parsons tore his ACL versus the Broncos. So he will be out the rest of the season also. I was just starting to get things going. It's very unfortunate. So, okay. Let's jump into our battles. We had a bunch of good games this week. Week 1 of the playoffs. So very exciting. Very exciting.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
And some of us did not win a game. So, in speaking of which, in our first battle of the evening, our game of the week, from someone's perspective, I'm sure, Plague of Anubis, myself, fell to Varathragna's Vengeance, 248.43 to 242.63. Our highest scoring battle, a brutal 5.8 point defeat that I faced. Ollie kicked things off by grabbing what we both thought was a great waiver ad in Shadur Sanders, who promptly rewarded him with 4.38. Not great. But the rest of his team stepped up, and more importantly, stepped on me to get where they needed to go. I was the stepping stone this year. Yeah, unfortunate. Bijan Robinson ran wild with 32.3. Puka Nakua went nuclear with 27.8, and Dalton Schultz dropped 27.6. And even Javonte Williams politely added 22.1 before exiting the game with an injury. With double-digit performances continuing throughout his defensive unit, on my side, it wasn't much different. Both teams cracked over 240 points and played great football. But there must always be a loser, and today that was me. Baker Mayfield did his part, 27.38 points. Kyle Pitts went absolutely insane, just nuclear, with a monstrous 53.6 points on Thursday night against my Bucks. And yes, I must be the only person on earth to have lost while starting Kyle Pitts this week. Swift added 27.7. RJ Harvey chipped in with 13.8, and Amarian Hampton put up 12.5. But Tet McMillan faltered at 4 points, and that was the crack in the armor. Congratulations, Ollie, and for once again using me as a stepping stone to this season. I can't wait to see what this year's gag gift will be. And every year, whenever we lose, we usually do a gag gift to each other at the end when we play each other, because it's usually me and him in the playoffs. We'll knock each other off. I've got a poster board that I hang in my bathroom that has me losing by 4 points in a championship to him. And he has a book and a few other items. So I'm very curious, but at the same time, man, this was totally my fault. I swapped one. I made one move. I moved Mbuka, because hasn't had a good stretch in the last 4 weeks. I moved him out. I moved Tet McMillan, who's been really good and had a pretty good matchup, and that didn't go well. And oof. Anyway, so congratulations, Ollie. It's always nice to be that stepping stone. In our next matchup, in our next battle, Saving Ryan's Privates took a curious trip into Ananke's Temple of BDSM to see what all the buzz was about, and immediately regretted every life choice that led him there. Falling 276.03 to 209.67, a 66.36 point beating. Man, order 66 here. With 267.03, Robbie, we have the Battle of the Robs here. That's Rob versus Robbie. Robbie posted the highest score of the week, earning Conqueror of the Week, and with the same 66.36 points, he also claims Massacre of the Week for biggest blowout. A brutal way to open week 1 of the playoffs by knocking off the number 1 seed as the number 8. Robbie's all-star cast showed zero mercy. Bo Nix exploded for 39.48 points. Amon-Ra shined with 38.4. Trey McBride went full nuclear at 46.4, and that he is sitting at tight end 1 right now. It looks really nice. Trey Henderson piled on another 41.4. This team brought every whip and chain it could find, and then some. On the other side, Rob actually put together a solid outing with over 200, well-rounded score for a normal week. But playoffs aren't normal, and the Temple of BDSM casts a long shadow over anyone who enters unprepared. Congratulations, Robbie, on an absolute dominant playoff statement. And the safe word was definitely victory. So, congratulations. You killed it, buddy. You did really well. In in this week's domestic violence theme battle, the Hail Marys took down the One as Ray delivered his best Ray Rice impersonation and advanced in the playoffs. 240.48 to 213.56, a 26.92 point win. Driving away from the scene in his white Bronco, Caleb Williams dropped 23.08 and Devin Achane added 20.6. Jamison Williams exploded for 25.4, and Saquon Barkley finally showed up with 22.1. But the real shame belongs to Brandon Aubrey, who somehow only managed 20.3 while missing 2 of his 6 field goals. Shame. Shame. One shame for each kick. I mean, 20.3 from your kicker is absolutely amazing. So good for you, Aubrey. But, it could have been more, right? On the other side, Jess was beaten and battered, with Patrick Mahomes leaving early after a torn ACL and LCL at 13.46. Christian McCaffrey doing what he could with 22.6, and she's happy he played because there was questionable before the game, right? And George Kittle fighting like hell with 28.8, while Brandon Jones exited with a pectoral tear after contributing only 6 points. And as the saying goes, if the glove doesn't fit, you can't acquit. Ray moves on in the next round of the playoffs, while Jess tumbles into the middle of the draft board, searching for meaning after a loss like this. Congratulations, Ray, and I hope you enjoyed sleeping on the couch last night. Oh man, both these teams, crazy how good they were this season. Our two ladies in the league always seem to be extremely dominant, but yeah, it's very unfortunate. They both lost this week. So, speaking of our second lady, in our next matchup, with Christmas spirit looming, Hercules' huge sock stuffed the sock, loading the stocking to max and winding up for a massive swing, colliding with the victorious Valkyries and beating the holiday cheer right out of her, winning 202.06 to 200.4. A brutal 1.66 point heartbreak. In our closest battle of the evening, Chas earns the most hated award of all, the Spartan Shield. And this might be the second worst one to take, sitting just shy of the championship weekend, right? Laying on the ground, dazed and confused, Chas immediately regretted starting Lamar Jackson and his 19 points, while Jared Goff's 31.52 stared at her from the bench. But truthfully, with both teams cracking 200 and separated by less than 2 points, both teams did their job and fought valiantly in the first leg of the playoffs. In the end, it was Vince who emerged victorious, and a difference maker was a clutch last minute move when Njoku went down before the game. Vince pivoted to Darren Waller, and his 30.6 points he put up on Monday night slammed the coffin shut on Chas. Congratulations, Vince, on an absolute savage Monday night comeback. Yeah, that's huge. And I just know she was devastated every time Waller got a pass, Waller got a big pass, Waller got a touchdown. He had a big day with a few touchdowns. So that was really rough. It's always hard to lose that first week of the playoffs. Okay. In this cosmic battle for better draft picks, I'm an Aztec warrior, deserving of a deep voice, fired the rocket and shot down the comet, edging out a close 179.8 to 170.95, an 8.85 point victory. Martin channeled his inner Miles Garrett, ripped off his helmet, and smashed Jose with it in good Raider fashion. Even though it looked like he had thrown in the towel early by leaving TJ Watt in his IDP slot after the news of the hospitalization of the lung. Forgot to throw that in the news. Somehow Luck intervened with Patrick Queen's 23 points on Monday night and a massive 36.9 from the Ravens defense, while the real dagger came from Jalen Hurts dropping 32.3 against his own Raiders. Treason and treachery at its finest, but honestly par for the course. Martin even survived a full donut from Terrell Bernard and still pulled it out. Meanwhile, Jose's team collapsed at the worst time possible, officially dubbing this the weekend of misery, with only a few bright spots like Brock Purdy's 34.6 or Nick Collins' 26.5, and your IDPs, Carson Schlesinger with 18, Nate Landman with 19, showing up at 179. Or I'm sorry, at 170.95. Jose posts the lowest score of the week, earning him the title of the Banished One. Kicked straight into the pit of Hades. And judging by the results, everyone who lost this week probably feels like they're down there with you. And I know I feel like I'm down there with you right now. So better luck next week, Jose. But congratulations to Martin. You're climbing the ladder toward that first round draft pick. It's super elusive. And yeah, we flip our consolation bracket. So if you win, you do better. So the losers, if you want to tank, go right ahead. It's going to be a really bad draft pick. So good for you, Martin. All right. In our final battle of the evening, the Apache guerrillas went owl hunting and came home empty-handed as owl formation took control early and never let go, winning 187.99 to 174.82, a 13.37 point victory, a true 187. Both sides came out firing, and quarterbacks putting up big numbers as Matthew Stafford dropped 24.12 and Jackson Dart answered with 27.94. But the difference came from Allen's heavy hitters. Josh Jacobs bulldozing his way for 29.6 and Kyron Williams slicing up the defense with 25.8. The Eagles defense absolutely erupted for 35.65 points, carrying owl formation across the line. The Owls grouped up, rained down pine cone bombs like a scene straight out of Harry Potter, overwhelming the Apache at every turn. Congratulations on a huge victory in the consolation bracket, Allen. You're one step closer to that elusive first overall draft pick. And as I was saying, yeah, you want to win in the consolation because it's the right place to be. So, okay, this week's Loki Lucky Finds are some pretty good waiver wires. The OP of the week, the offensive player of the week, is Eddie Pinheiro from Vince, who it helped him beat Chas. So congratulations. He had a very good pickup. And the DP of the week, the defensive player of the week, is Devin Lloyd for myself, which didn't help me with shit. So yeah, good job. So okay. Last week in our pick'ems, I went 3-3. Mario went 2-4, and Daniel went 1-5, while our special guest Ali whooped our ass and went 4-2. Congratulations, bastard. Our CFO really does know best. But well, this week, let's see how this week goes, and let's pick them. All right. Our first game is these are the two games going into the championship. So Farathragna's Vengeance versus Anunke's Temple of BDSM. And this is gonna be a phenomenal game. And I say the next two games really are gonna be. So it's tough. I don't this week with the pickups, I'm not really gonna I'll go over my pick, but I don't have everyone else's pick yet, so they'll be entered into the document later. So we'll know next week how everybody does. But with myself, it's more preference. I'm gonna go Robbie here. I can't vote for the guy that just kicked me out of the playoffs because you're in my spot, buddy. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Robbie. But Ollie's probably gonna win. So make you smile. In our next matchup, we have the Hail Marys going up against Hercules, huge sock. And this is going to be quite the matchup. Uh, Ray has had a phenomenal team, and Vince is he's had some monsters on that team and really gets some good points here and there. Both are high scoring teams. So this will be a very interesting battle to go at. I wrote down Raymond. I am going Ray. I got a lot of R's written down here, so it's a theme, I guess, for this week for myself. In my next battle, and it is my battle, Plague of Anubis goes against Saving Ryan's Privates, and I mean, like, honestly, I'm gonna go Rob here. It's not a battle I want to win. At this point, I've lost. You're right. Third place. I'd love third place. Yeah, but you want that better draft pick at this point. Yeah, but like, you can't tank. You got to play. So I just don't think my team has it though. I'm playing again. I think in true fashion, Rob has this magic against him. Both the Robs do, honestly. If you look at both of them in all the 14 teams, there's played for and played against, and they are the bottom two. Robbie was the lowest, and Rob was the second lowest points against. So they just have this magic against them that everyone has their worst weeks, and I feel like I'm having a bad week. So, in our next battle, we have oh wow, it's battle of it's our girls. We have a chick fight. Chick fight. Uh Victoria's Valkyries goes on against the one. And oh man. I gotta root my wife here. So and poor Jess, she's lost her quarterback with no Patrick Mahomes. This is going to be a rough one for her, so I'm going to pencil in Chas. Okay, our next battle. We have Arjuna's Warriors facing off the Kuiper Belt Soldiers. Everybody wants to win this battle here because these next two battles are going in for last place. You don't want to be on the last place trophy in our league. It's a lot of shame, and there's a lot of things that can happen to you at that game. So, because I want to say our last place person gets water thrown on them. We have an app called the Wheel of Water, and you get to spin the app at the draft and then throw a cup of water in certain fashion, however the wheel gives you, at the loser, which means yeah, it's a lot of fun. So not a battle you want to lose. So I got Richard written down here. His team, he's been on waivers, and this week this dude was all over waivers. So I'm all about it. I think Richard's got it. In our next battle, we have a brotherly battle. It's a battle of the host. Mario takes on Daniel. We have Smitey Mighty Boss Stones versus the Apache Gorillas. And honestly, Daniel's team is firing at the end of the season. He's got all the players coming back. I think Bucky will turn around and have a much better game this week. I'm going to go Daniel on this one. So, and then in our final battle, it's our 10th place battle. We have Martin facing Allen. So I'm an Aztec warrior, takes on the owl formation. And Sleeper's projecting this one to be our closest battle, but we'll see. I'm going to go Allen here. I know Martin's won the last one. He had a big win too. So, oh man. Yeah, no, I'm looking at their matchups. Yeah, I think I'm just going to line up with Allen though. So, all right. Well, thanks for marching with us. Tune in next week to witness who conquers who claims glory, and who is cast down and banished into the pit. And week 2 of the playoffs, that'll be pretty interesting. Another chapter etched into the halls of Valhalla. Until next time, stand ready, mortals. The gods have spoken.
In a realm where legends rise and dreams collide, a council gathers with power as their guide. Jonathan the strategist with wisdom's might, Mario and Daniel warriors ready to ignite. Thunder roars, lightning cracks the sky, electric strings sing a battle cry. In this arena of fantasy and lore, the gods